up with Dr. Leyland. Step into the future, the world is waiting now. Dreams are in the making, we'll show you how. From the books to the screen, from the stage to the stars, level up your game, let's raise the bar. Innovation, inspiration, it's in our DNA. Breaking through the limits, we're paving the way. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Empowered in your passion, your voice will be heard. Building a legacy with every word. From podcasts to pages, from business to art, Level Up's the place where it all can start. With heart and with vision, we're chasing every goal. Together we'll ignite the fire in your soul. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Oh, we're trailblazing, breaking through the mold. Dreams are alive, let your story unfold. With courage and pride, we'll take the fight. At Level Up, we own the night. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. So let's level up and never look back. On the road to greatness, we're on the right track. Together we'll soar, together we'll thrive. At Level Up Academy, we're alive.
Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? I don't feel good right now, so you gotta be nice to me. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm here. Tonight's discussion is about disrupting and dominating. It's a bold leadership in faith and life, right? There comes a point in our social cultural right here in America, United States of America, where being a Christian, even in 2024, 2025, seems like you're still persecuted, right? Like, it's not the only religion. I'm not saying that's the only religion, but I think every single person should respect your own religion. That's all I'm saying, right? If you are a Buddhist or Catholic, or technically Catholic is a Christian, or if you are Muslim, it's okay. Just do your own thing, but you don't have to put other religion to elevate your religion. Just like people, just because you don't like them or you're doing the same thing, you don't have to put them down to elevate yourself. So disrupting and dominating your space begins with a shift in mindset, right? To disrupt means to challenge the status quo, to refuse complacency, and to break through barriers that have limited you or those around you. It requires the courage for you to question outdated norms. We have a lot of outdated norms. I mean, heck, our rules and regulations is this from the 1700, for goodness sake, right? So embrace innovation. We have a lot of AI. Yes, it's gonna eliminate some jobs, but it also will create some jobs. So it's either you go with the flow or you get out of the way, right? And stop complaining if you are not leveling up. and step boldly into uncharted territory, because this is uncharted territory. We've never had a pandemic that killed thousands of people. We've never had AI that does everything. Pretty much one person can do a lot, right? So whether you're in career, business, or personal life, disruption is about identifying your gaps, pushing your boundaries, and daring to create change where others only see obstacles. People often, when you give them your vision, they're like, that is so big and audacious. Like, how dare you? Right? Because they don't see where you can shine. Sometimes it's okay to not share your vision with people because they can't see what you have deep inside you. No one can really truly know who you are, nor you can really know truly who you are until you're pushed to your limits. Then you're like, wow, okay, I learned something, right? Because it's about refusing to blend in and instead positioning yourself as a trailblazer in your field. And that is not an easy task. Once you disrupt, you must dominate, right? Because domination is not about controlling others, because we all know you can't control anybody. It's about mastering your own craft. It's about owning your own influence. It's about consistently delivering value that sets you apart from others. It's about becoming so excellent in what you do that your presence commands respect and recognition. This requires persistence, discipline, and the ability for you to stand firm in your vision despite any challenges that you may have today, whether that's personal or in business. True domination comes from resilience, your ability to rise every time you fall, to learn from setbacks, and to keep moving forward with unwavering faith and determination. And speaking of faith, we're going to have a lot of faith discussion tonight, because as we go into the Bible, as we go into the books, it's a lesson learned for us to supposed to, okay, learn from our mistakes. But as truly human being, we don't learn from our mistakes. We keep repeating history, right? So to truly disrupt and dominate your space individually, you must operate with purpose and confidence and unshakable belief in your mission. Surround yourself with people who challenge and elevate you, not someone who just agrees every time you speak, because you're not going to learn anything in life if everyone agrees to you and everyone's afraid to tell you, right? What you're supposed to level up. You should actually thank the people who question your thoughts sometimes, right? But also provide solution of how you could level up, because those are the people who are going to mentor you. Invest in continuous growth and never stop refining your skills. And above all, remain fearless in your pursuit of greatness. You were not created to stay in the background. You were made to stand out, to lead, and to leave an impact that cannot be ignored. The world doesn't need more followers, people. It needs bold disruptors and fearless dominators. So, what do? I ask you to step up, take your place, and own your space. Are you guys ready? Okay, I guess I'm here. I don't feel good. I have fever for 2 days now, and I'm starting to cough a little bit again. Um, I have a lot of I actually like my inhaler. It's like what is it? It's like menthol inhaler. And Bella is so funny. My daughter, my youngest, she's like, "Mom, that doesn't look like good when you're doing that." I'm like, I'm not doing anything bad. It's just an inhaler, okay? But she's so funny about it. So tonight we're gonna have my sister Susanna join me. Hello, sister.
Oh,
We are not stopping, sick or not sick. If I'm able to crawl out of bed, I will. We're gonna have a lot of discussion about. There's a lot happening. First of all, let me just go over to our sponsors real quick, okay? So Charlie is one of our sponsors, guys. We Charlie was just here on Thursday, and he actually has a summit is on the 24th to the 28th, and I'm going to give you more information and QR code next week. I'm hoping I'll get all the information next week to get the QR code for you to register. Also, my Level Up Circle magazine called Disrupt and Dominate is actually coming out next month in March, because for some reason that is how I want to start my first quarter: disrupt and dominate. Our president actually is disrupting right now. I don't know about domination yet, but definitely disrupting. And also the CDV, Confronting Domestic Violence. Please register. That QR code is right there. I just want to chill with you and chat with you. I'll be there for about 20 minutes at the very beginning. It starts at 10:30. And we're just talking about it's Stalker Awareness Month right now. And sometimes I joke around about, oh, I'm stalking your profile, things like that, right? That means I'm watching your profile. But honestly, in all honesty, and let's be serious, stalker, if you have a stalker, I've had a couple in my lifetime. It's actually scary things happening because they take control and power, or they embolden and get empowered by you not doing something about it. And sometimes it's fun and whatever, haha, I have a stalker, I have someone who follows. But when they take the next step, they level up their ways of doing things because they're so like infatuated with you. That's when things really go bad. And so we're going to talk about that in there. And this is anonymous, right? Like you don't have to turn on your camera. You can just turn on your microphone and go from there, right? And then we're also going to go to an immersive way soon on these things. So we're going to talk about it in spaces where people actually know what we're doing at Confronting Domestic Violence, which is educating people on the what ifs and being proactive. Another thing is, look at this sister. Isn't she pretty? Right? She is available for not only publishing, but also making sure that you can hire her for your corporation. She does belonging, a lot of belonging conversation and thinking outside the box. And you may be asking, CJ, what does that mean? It means that Susanna can actually train you in a workshop and get into your organization to evaluate at least a good 6 months to evaluate you and your organization on your productivity. Because when people feel like they belong in your organization and they can contribute the way you want them to contribute, productivity goes up. But when your organization feels like it's just disrupting everything and not feeling being part of the organization, then guess what? The productivity goes down. So, how does she do that? She does that by what? Framework. She has a framework. You go ask her what her framework is, okay? So just DM her for sure. Here's another sponsor that I have, which is Bella Grace. I'm still using the elixir. I've been using that every day. I'm hoping whatever juju and power it has, it's helping me for sure. And then of course, I'm on Influencing You platform, where all social media influencers that you'll see, big ones, 100,000 followers and more, actually are here giving their secrets away. But it is a monthly subscription. And then, of course, academic publishing. It's going to come out soon in May. We're going to have some summit as well. And this book is coming out soon next month. Woo woo! I can't wait. And then, of course, my mic to millions in there. All right, I think we're done. Oh, I did good because I was like 7:15, 7:15. Okay, sister, how are you feeling with what I said at the very
Go ahead.
at the very beginning? How did you feel of what I said at the very beginning of it? Like, when I talked about being a disruptor and how you can dominate, right? In life and in business, like, what are your thoughts on that?
It's it's important to be able to look at what you can do, how you can do it, and know that in many ways we are created to disrupt. Um, there's so many examples just going through the Bible. There's going to be a whole lot of examples of disrupting. So as you were going through it, as you were talking, yeah, Mikey doesn't think she can be seen.
Because for like, I don't know, for a month, I think 4 shows, I couldn't find him.
Yeah. I
I'm
said
not
she since it's sister, you know? Like,
gonna. No.
he's awesome. Um, but yeah, being able to find those ways to disrupt, being able to find the ways to make change is really part of this. Um, and be able to make change that matters. That is all part of this disrupt and dominate. It's it's changing it's changing in ways to to lift people up instead of push people down.
Yeah. I actually wanted to talk about bold leadership in faith and life because I think for the longest time at work, we don't talk religion or we don't talk any type of politics, right? It's just a no-no. Like even when I teach politics, or that's why I hate history sometimes because there's too many politics conversation. Even in business, when I have to teach um, business class with SWOT analysis and past analysis. So past analysis is political, right? Economic, social, cultural, and technology. And you have to have those within your organization because that is looking out, whereas SWOT analysis is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats is looking in. But you have to have in and out as a puzzle together to look. But when I teach the politics part, I just literally teach them like politicians change rules and regulations all the time that actually disrupts your organization, right? Like for example, right now we have tariffs happening. Um, what's going to happen with that is that when you have that barriers to entry is not easy anymore. It's harder now, right? Because we're trying to change the way that we can have income. The thing is, because these people have been our allies and giving us this, you're now making it harder for them to entry because you have taxation that's higher. So it's disrupting business owners with the situation with the borders as well. But the problem is now is that some of these businesses like I was seeing it on TikTok. One of this lady was talking about how you know most predominantly her workers were Hispanic, and now she has no more workers left. In the back of my head I was like, so you're basically like saying that you have employed illegals? Is that what you're saying? Because if they were legal, they would stay working, right? Like I was so confused about that. So all of those things that are happening right now is definitely disrupting businesses. And the way I see it is instead of focusing on the politics and the laws that we actually are trying to interpret, and we're not judges, right? I feel like as smart as we are not judges. That is not our zone of genius. So for me to have an opinion of what DEI, eyes, all of these things is okay, but keep it within you rather than out there, right? Um, it's because people will always question it. But if you are going to talk about both leadership in faith and life, we actually have to look at the Bible because that is our faith, right? So
Mhm.
I'm going to start with, I don't know which one should I start. I actually want to start with this one. Well, did I already put this in? I think. Yeah, I'm going to start with this one because we have quite a bit tonight. Um, the Lord will make you the head, not the tail, right? If you plan to do the commands of the Lord your God that I give you this day and carefully follow them, you will always be at the top, never at the bottom. What is your thought on that?
It's so for this one, understanding that we have a purpose. That's kind of how I'm seeing this. We have a purpose. We're created for a purpose. And and then remember too, this is Old Testament is where that one's coming from, as opposed to the New Testament, because there are some differences between the two of them.
This one actually is the New Testament.
Deuteronomy is the Old Testament.
Oh, is it? Okay. Because it says NIV on there.
No, 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 no. That don't worry about that. That's the international version.
Yeah.
Um, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Those are the first 5 books of the Bible. And so this is, and Deuteronomy is one of the hardest ones because that's where so many of the rules for the ancient times are. So you're looking at all these different rules that are supposed to be followed, and now you're being told that God will make you the head, not the tail. Um, so, and the Old Testament can be so hard to follow. Uh,
True, because you're right, it is about the rules. Well, to me, when I was reading this, when I'm pulling it up, I was thinking that um, the divine favor, right? Like positioning you as a leader and a force for change. Like it speaks about rising above challenges, breaking those barriers, and taking charge, but in alignment with God's purpose. So if we're living the life right now and we're doing what God intended for us to do, we're living in His purpose, right? So if we're rising above those challenges and breaking those barriers and taking charge of what God really made us to do, which is what for me is to level up the world through education, I feel like that's in my bones, right? To help people who are needing help. But I'm human, I'm not God, so I have my own weaknesses through that. And we were just talking about how even God Himself, Jesus Himself, God's Son, had to prove His power to the people to prove that He can do things, let alone us. We don't even have that power, but we do have a power to control ourselves, and we need to learn that power. So to me, it's like if you take charge and if you are living the life of what God is intended for you to do, then you will be the leader that He meant for you to be. What do you think?
yeah, it's following those rules. It's doing um, what you're created to, and part of that too is because of the time that it was. It's to not be going after other gods, because as long as you are focused on Him and what He's talking about, what He's saying, then you're gonna stay at that head, at that upper part. It's when you start going after the other gods and you leave Him in the dust is when you end up in the tail. So as long as you are there doing what you're supposed to do, have that faith, have that belief, follow all those different rules, then you're gonna stay on the upper side, not slide down to the lower side, underside.
Yeah. Let's take one of yours, actually. I'm going to read it because it didn't go all the way. It says, Jesus confronts religious hypocrisy, Matthew 23, verse 27 to 28. Woe to you, teachers of the law and the Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean. That's deep, sister. Talk
Well,
to me about
it's deep, but it's when you think about it, um, think about looking at the people who look like I think we kind of talked about it a little bit last week too. It's like you see somebody and you think they have it all together. You think they are just the greatest it can be. And of course, because it's the Pharisees, these are the leaders. These are the teachers. These are the ones that everybody's supposed to look to guide them to do what is right. And yet what he's basically telling them is while they look while they look like they know what they're doing and they can kind of say the right things, inside they're not doing it. They're not following what they're supposed to do. They're being like the tomb. The dead bones can't do anything. It's not going to lift. And how are a bunch of dead bones going to level anybody up? I mean, the only ones that's going to level it up is the archaeologist who finds something worth it.
that. It's so funny. I'm watching The Mummy right now. That is hilarious.
But as
Um,
far as everybody else, it's like you look at them, and quite frankly, we see this in our world today, where you've got the hypocrites, you've got the people who are seeing the right things. They're saying what's supposed to be going on. But there's something inside of them that's not that's doing their own thing as opposed to following following the rules, understanding. I think that's really much more of it is understanding the rules. And you talk deep. I mean, this goes into even what I was talking about earlier, where there's those passages where Jesus is basically saying, I see everybody, while you are only looking at the people that you want to look at, that you want to accept.
Yeah, based on this.
That's
Yeah.
what the Pharisees are doing. It's like the hypocrites are, they claim to be for everybody, but they really are only for a select group.
Yeah, which is happening to us right now. So when I'm reading this, I feel like Jesus was confronting the Pharisees, right? It's a is a powerful example what it means to disrupt and dominate. Jesus did that in a way that aligns with the truth and the righteous. So when Jesus called out the religious leaders as whitewashed tombs, it's so funny. He was disrupting the false image they projected because
Right.
appearing righteous on the outside while being corrupt and spiritually really dead inside. He wasn't afraid to challenge deeply ingrained systems that misled people, exposing hypocrisy and calling for authentic transformation. And that's really what I love about this, actually, when you're doing that, because I feel like disrupting and dominating your space, it shows that true leadership requires courage to challenge what is wrong even when it's unpopular, right? Like Jesus to disrupt means to stand against deception, mediocrity, and complacency. This is really us sometimes. We get complacent, whether in faith or business or personal growth. It means speaking the truth, holding yourself and others accountable, and refusing to confront the shallow appearances of success without true substance. And I think success means so many things to so many different people. For me, if I have happiness and peace, I'm successful.
Mhm.
That's really it. Because no amount of money or no amount, yes, we all need money. Check. I could, I could use 100 grand right now, but you know what I mean. Like we all need money. But if you don't have any money, you don't have a house, you don't have your car, and you're on the street, just like the people in Los Angeles who lost everything, who are not millionaires, what do you have? Who are you without those titles, without those anything? Who are you in inside your person? That to me is more important, right? But you can't dominate your space when and challenge the norm if you're doing something, because people do see that. People do see you, are you being consistent, right? So I love that. This is my second one. Joshua, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. I think God literally, sometimes I think he's being funny because, and I tell him he's not funny. And I'm like, you're not funny, right? Because he pushes you to, okay, think of like a bridge or like a ledge, right?
Mhm.
And you're afraid of heights. And it's like, hey, I have this view for you. Let's go. Okay. You like walk in and you're seeing, I'm like, okay, I'm going really up and up. Like, what's happening? Right? I'm not afraid of heights, but my husband is. So like let's say you're walking and then you're on the top and he knows that you're afraid of heights, but yet he's like, hey, look at this view, come here. And you're literally on the ledge, you're getting pushed off, and then he holds your hand and said, okay, go ahead and just stretch yourself. I think every time he does that, he's not being funny, but I feel like he's trying to be funny. Like, Lord, really you're gonna push it this way, really? And I feel like I'm picturing him smiling and laughing, like, yup, you deserve that one. Like, oh my gosh. I feel like this one is about boldness and disruption of fear and dominating challenges with divine strength. Because he questions your faith, not because he doesn't trust you or doesn't believe you, but because he gave you will, right? Freedom, a will to do whatever you want. He questions your faith constantly if you're walking in the right path. And that if you don't have any fear, you can dominate your challenge with his help. What do you think, sister?
I'm looking at this as um, understanding that he's always beside you, and and so why can't you be courageous? Because he's right there. And there's other verses like if God is for me, then who can be against me? So in this case, what I'm seeing in the verse is he is walking beside us. And if if you accept the fact that he is right there, then there's no reason to be afraid or to be discouraged because wherever you go, he's there. You understand that. And here, I mean, with Joshua, this is probably around the time that Joshua's trying to figure out, am I really supposed to do what you're telling me? Because Moses is now gone. Moses is now out of the picture, and everything's been laid on the shoulders of poor Joshua. And so he's the one that's taking everybody across the river. He's the one that's leading the 12 tribes into the promised land. And of course, there's going to be some concern and some nervousness and some anxiety. And we all have these anxieties. However, when you can sit there and understand and believe that he is walking right beside you, that he is there every step that you're taking, that helps to reduce those anxieties. I'm dealing with it now.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that one. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm going to do this one. This is one of yours. Blessed is the one who perseveres. It's not mine or yours. I think that's yours, right?
No, that was yours.
Okay. No, I'm gonna do yours. This one.
'Cause I had
No,
Sam.
we already did that one. David and Goliath.
Yes, David and Goliath.
Okay, so David said to the Philistine,
Come.
uh, you come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. Tell me more.
So here's a case, and we deal with this all the time. I You can sit there and go, okay, you're coming at me with all of this stuff, um, and you make it sound like we have to have these things to be able to defend ourselves. Yet, think about the story of David and Goliath. David David is going up against Goliath. He's going in the name of the Lord, who is the God of Israel. The Philistines, which is Goliath, they've been fighting them over and over, and basically they put it up as if you can beat Goliath, then you beat us. But if Goliath beats your champion, then we beat you, kind of deal. Um, And so Goliath's got all this stuff on, and if you know the story, and they were trying to put all that armor and stuff on David before he went out, and he's like, "I can't wear this stuff. It doesn't work." Instead, he picked up like 5 smooth stones, and that's he went up against Goliath. He went up against the system with God and a stone. He won that one. He took Goliath down, struck Goliath with a slingshot, and that was that was the end of Goliath. That was the end of the Philistines, and the Israelite army wins.
Yeah,
Went with God as his co-pilot, if you will, instead of what everybody believes you have to have a sword and a spear and a javelin and all of that.
That's actually really relatable to today because you think you have to have money and this and that and this and that to get in to whatever, right? Or as a successful person. With Goliath, David and Goliath, he literally refused to accept the status quo, right? Not that only warrior with armor and weapons could fight the Philistines champion. He's like, no. Instead, I'm going to step forward with just faith, not fear, showing that real power really comes from God and not human strength. um, David didn't just challenge Goliath, he dominated by relying on his God given abilities. He didn't need a sword or a shield, like you said, or anything to battle gear, right? He just used what he knew, a sling and a stone. And that's literally what we are. We're given our own zone of genius. Why are we looking for other things to put into whatever? And I think the more authentic you become and learn about yourself, the more you're more powerful within yourself and to others. The lesson really is to be bold and stand in faith and then take action, right? Because the story teaches us that true leaders disrupt fear, break limitations and dominate our challenges with faith and purpose. And we have a lot of pain, so I love my music when I said I turn my pain into purpose because it is, right? Facing our own giants. We have a lot of giants, actually. um, like fear and doubt and opposition and obstacles. But with confidence in God's power, we know we can. And the hard thing is that the non believer will ask, okay, well, show me where your God is. God is everywhere. It's not an entity like a person where you see him. He's everywhere. And you'll feel him if you just SDFU and calm down and really just listen and just close your eyes. And he's everywhere. He's literally everywhere. Because victory doesn't come from following the crowd, by the way, or relying on conventional methods. It's about stepping out with boldness and trusting that God will fight on your behalf, right? So I love this one, sister. Now let me I don't know if that's you. I think that's no, you already did that. So I want to do this one. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. What is your thought on that one before I put mine?
On that one, um, trying to remember that one. It's we're all under a trial. We're all having to stand a test, um, but a lot is going to depend on which trial you're actually trying to pass. And here, this one is really focused on God. So whatever trials He's putting you through, you trust in Him. You're going to have that ability to stand the test. And when you're doing that, you've put your faith in Him. You make it through the fire, as it were. That's when you're going to get the crown of life that He's promised to those who love Him. Because it really is part of that trial, too, for many is, are you going to listen to Him and accept Him? Or are you going to sidestep and go a different direction to believe in something else?
I think everyone wants a shortcut, including me. I like to streamline process, I like to shortcut, and I like it fast and furious, like really, right? But sometimes the art of doing and the art of living, like imagine if our life from 1 to 50 is a split second when you close your eyes and you open your 1 and then you open your 50. That would not be fun because you won't have any lessons learned. There are things that you can streamline, and I think life you cannot, right? You cannot streamline life like that. So I feel like James is the heart and the core of like my belief system, this right here. Because when it says blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, who do you know, sister, that's not going to trials right now? Everyone goes to trials and hardships. It's part of life. But those who stand firm through difficulties are considered blessed by God because we're meant to go through life like that. And you're like, no, if your God is going to make you really be having this lesson that it's hard, that's not real God. But who's to say? Perseverance isn't just about surviving. It's not about that. It's about growing stronger through challenges. If everything in your life is handy, dandy, happy, what kind of challenges are you doing? What kind of growth are you doing? Growth comes from pain. Even Bella, when she was growing up, she was a little kid. She used to cry a lot. Her knees was really hurting her. And I'm like, okay, what is happening? But her bones are growing faster than her body could handle, right? But now she has really strong knees. To me, it's like having stood tests. Life struggles are tests of faith and your character and your endurance, right? So when you stand firm through refines us, prepares us for greater things. When we're talking about David and Goliath, I love that story of the Bible, by the way, because when David faced Goliath and Job remained faithful despite suffering, perseverance is the key to spiritual victory.
Yep.
Keep going, keep at it. When you're creating content or you're trying to network or you're trying to change whatever you're doing in your business as a leader, and it doesn't give you what you want or the outcome that you want, keep going, right? But disrupt your steps because sometimes it's within those steps that you can actually pivot and change and grow. That person will receive the crown of life. I love that one. It says the crown of life represents eternal reward. And the people who believe in that are the people who's trying to be living their life the way it is. Am I saying I'm perfect? Heck no. Do I curse a lot? Yeah, every 5 seconds. For sure. And I asked my sister just to go to church and help me with that, right? But I have a Bible study group. And I've been working at it for a while now. But it's a reminder that our struggles are not in vain, that God sees and honors our endurance. And we just have to keep going because He does promise that trusting Him through trials and tribulations. And that's what we are going to do. Now, let's go ahead and go with yours. The last one here.
Okay.
What does that mean? So now go. I'm sending you to the Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt.
It's disrupting. It's disrupting the status quo for one thing, because now Moses is being told that he's headed someplace that he doesn't want to go back to. He's already been in trouble. I mean, he was supposed to be dead in the first place, and then ended up being the princess's child and growing up in the palace, and then something happened, and so he ran away. And now God's basically saying, we're going to turn you around. We're going to send you back. And you are now going to lead everybody out. So, and now he's got to deal with the fact that he's the one that is responsible for going in there, listening to what God is telling him is going to happen, what he's supposed to say, and to stand up to the Pharaoh, like the greatest leader, and say, you're going to do what I tell you to do because my God says this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I took a picture. We had like 900 people in there. I think they did do like the conversation. And I love this conversation because in leadership, if you don't have spirituality in your life, um, whoever religion or whatever religion that you choose, it's okay. But at the end of the day, if your religion teaches you to harm others, that's not a good religion. Just saying. Um, because kindness and compassion and empathy for others is a learned behavior. And I had to learn that too because I've been raised in a different culture. Let's just say that. And so, yeah. And thank you, sister, for being here. Now, disrupting oppression and fear. So Moses was not a warrior, right? Nor did he see himself as a leader, really. Yet God chose him to disrupt the Pharaoh's rule and free the Israelites from slavery. Slavery's been forever. Now, this act wasn't just about confronting the Pharaoh, it was about breaking a cycle of oppression, right? That had lasted for generations. Now, disrupting injustice often requires someone willing to challenge the norm, face the opposition, and step beyond that personal limitations. Because often we do have personal limitations because of fear, right? And exactly what Moses was called to do. And he's like, I'm not a leader. Get out of here. What? No. And Moses didn't rely on personal strength or persuasion. He dominated the situation through obedience to God's command. And the Pharaoh ruled with power, but Moses had something greater. It's called divine authority. And I think if you live your life where you're doing yourself a favor, right, by not harming others, but being kind, by being compassionate, and as a leader, you want your people to, and you don't have to have an organization to be a leader. You could be a community leader. You have influence. Each and every one of us have an influence over other people, and your thoughts and your viewpoints more than ever is out there right now, because we are living in a space where social media dominates pretty much anything in our life, right? So for you to step up and lead boldly, you got to reflect on yourself first. You got to make your weaknesses your strength. When you say, I'm aware, you need to be aware in every aspect of your life. But see, because we're human, we're not fully aware. I'm not fully aware of 100% of what I'm doing wrong. But that's why you surround yourself with people like my sisters, because they tell me, CJ, I think this or this. And I ask, like, literally, tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong. Right? And Susanna usually tell me, I wish I could, but you're right. Because when I tell certain things, I always have my logic out, and then I give you examples of what I'm thinking and why. Right? I don't just like randomly say crap and just be done with it. I usually will say, okay, here's what I think is happening, and let me tell you why it's wrong. Da 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 da. I give examples. And then I ask her, okay, am I wrong with my thoughts? And the reason, it's not like you're not 100% like belief in yourself, or you're not 100% true to yourself, because you should stand on your own. Decision making is not about just by yourself, because you're so limited in your capacity sometimes, because you only live your life. If you ask other people like Susanna or any other people who live a different kind of life, it gives you a different thought process or viewpoints, right? And that's when I love, is when I ask my sisters opinions, like, hey, can you tell me, why do you think, how we can do this better? And if you're doing the same process anyway in your organization, then why not ask for the people within your organization how to do it better, instead of saying, I know how to do it better by myself. That's not fun. So
No.
it's not fun, and no one is gonna want to work with you, because it's always about you and you and you. And sometimes, and I even told Susanna this too, I have a tendency, I think it's because an only child thing, maybe, I don't know. I have a tendency to dominate conversation, so I'm fully aware sometimes of STFU, um, to listen more, because God gave us two ears and one mouth, but yet we use our mouth more than what we listen. And if you have ADHD, it's really bad, because our listening spans like 10 seconds. Literally, it's like scrolling through TikTok. And so I'm aware of that, and that's a behavior thing, and it's not something like, oh, I can't control that. You can't control 100%, but I think your behavior can slowly extend it, slowly mold where you need to be, right? So I love that. Sister, what are your thoughts on that?
Uh, so much there, but it does come down to when we talk, um, listening and seeing what you're talking about, and if for anybody, it's being able to see what's being said, and being in a space that's safe, both for the speaker to say what they're thinking, and for the other person to respond with what they see. Um, because sometimes we end up in the middle between what you're looking for, what you're saying, and what we kind of come up as that decision of, this is where things are at. It's not
Mhm.
quite where what you're thinking, because there might be some of these other things, and because we don't have all the answers, but we try to understand all the different things going on. And that's kind of what we're doing at that point, is trying to have that conversation of what's going on. What does it look like? What are you hearing? What are you seeing? And this is why I like when you always have that, these are the whys you're thinking what you're thinking, because that makes it a bit easier to kind of think about, am I following that, or uh, am I seeing something that could be different? And
Hmm.
always trying, but the one thing that we've also talked about too is always trying to make sure that we also don't try and make excuses for something. So just because whatever the topic is, sometimes it's easy to make excuses for what we think we're seeing and why it's happening. Um, we've done that too much with some people, because by the time
Yeah,
they've done it, they do the same thing over and over and over and over. You
and we
can't
let it happen.
lose.
Yeah, we let it happen, and we learn. It's okay. It's okay, and that's the thing is when you learn from that mistake, or I shouldn't say mistake. It's part of why God put them in there, because we're supposed to learn, right? So we just kind of move on and learn, and we are more discerning on creating more boundaries for us on what is acceptable and what isn't. It's like going the kids going to the stove, says, hey, don't touch that fire, it's gonna hurt, and you touch the fire anyway and it hurts, and you're like, okay, I really cannot touch that fire anymore because it does hurt, right? So as we wrap up today's episode of Disrupt and Dominate, guys, remember this, that true leadership isn't about titles or positions or
Mm-mm.
power. It's about having the courage to disrupt what's broken, the wisdom to lead with integrity, and the faith to trust in greater purpose. You have a greater purpose, believe me, you do. And just like Moses challenged the pharaohs, David stood against Goliath, and Jesus confronted religious hypocrisy. You are called to step up and stand firm and lead boldly in your space. No matter what the challenges you have ahead, remember that James 1 2, blessed is the one who perseveres under trial. Keep pushing forward, backwards, left, right, however. Keep growing and keep trusting that God has equipped you for the journey ahead. You have it within you already. You just need to ignite it, be aware, ignite it, and spark it however you want to do it. The world doesn't need more followers, it needs bold disruptors, fearless dominators, and faith driven leaders who refuse to settle for less. So go out there, disrupt the norm, dominate with purpose, and lead with faith. And as always, stay connected with us, right, Susana?
Absolutely. And when you're doing that, it's part of that is see people for who they are, and not judge them for who they are, because Jesus
No,
never did.
no, no. And if they're not doing anything bad to you or anything that questions your being, why are you hating? Stop hating. You're actually hating yourself. The more you hate other people, you're actually hating yourself. You
Mhm.
don't like yourself enough to stay within your ground, to be happy within yourself, that you have to drag people down. Don't do that. It's not actually conducive to your health, to your heart, and to your growth, right? So as always, I got this. This virtual background doesn't give me the vibe. Hold on, let me see if I can get the vibe. Okay, maybe that's the vibe. I like this vibe. All right, sister, are you ready to dance as we exit out? I'm making her because she's like, I don't dance, and I'm pushing her boundaries. All right, ready? We're gonna do this. Let's go. This is the dance she does.
Level up, it's time to rise. Unlock your potential. Reach for the skies. Transform pain to purpose. Find clarity and stride. With Dr. Leyland leading, we stand side by side. Collaboration fuels us. Together we thrive at Level Up Academy. Your dreams come alive.
Woo! There's 49 still in here. Yeah. Where did Danielle, what the heck? Danielle, you need to come here on Sunday, sir. Drop whatever you have because we need to dance. And love. We need more love conversation. That's what we should do next Sunday. It's Love Month. We need Danielle for Love Month.
Right after
What?
next Sunday will be the 16th, so it's only a couple days after Valentine's.
Oh no, this is Love Month. I don't care about the one day you celebrate. I'm gonna celebrate the whole month with love.
Of course, I know.
So we're gonna have to have her here because I don't know what her plans are. Cancel your dang plans. You need to be here. Wait, oh no, I had that song in my head all day and now all night. Level up, Mike, level up. All right, guys, we love you. Susanna and I love you. By the way, next Wednesday, Susanna. Is yours Monday tomorrow for your
Mine
live?
tomorrow. I got CDV tomorrow. I've got yeah, CDV tomorrow
Okay,
at
so
9 a.m.
tomorrow is gonna be CDV Agape, and then
Then you
for
got
me it's gonna be Wednesday, and it's gonna be Kindness Worldwide, Kevin Smith. And then in the afternoon, he's actually going to be with Mike. How cool is that? He has 2 days live shows. And then Thursday, I don't know who I'm having Thursday. I think Agape and Nicole. We'll see if we can have them up in there. We'll see how that goes. If not, I'll just be here doing lectures.
because their event is Thursday.
I know it's at 10:30. I think I'm speaking at 10:30, but then I have a class at 11, so I can't stay there until 12. And then I have a live show at 9 till 10, so I'm thinking if they could come from 9:30 to 10, we can invite everybody. Anyhow, we will see you guys next week. Also, I wanted to make sure you guys see this. I need to take that live chat thing from Mike. There's a QR code, guys. This is going to be coming up here in Escondido, California. I will be here February 22nd. I will be doing this. I'm excited, actually. Very excited. Hopefully the pool is heated. Maybe. I don't know. I might just do yoga. Oh, shoot. I need to buy an outfit. Anyway, bye, everybody. See you on Wednesday. My ADHD just kicked in. I better stop talking now. Bye,
Love
guys.
you.
Love you guys.